Hey guys, how's it going? Jason here again then. Back with this trusty, rusty E36. And we're going to try and get this thing back on the road. So, I've already came out here and cut out this bit of sill here just so I could see what was going on in the inners. And yeah, here to about here is pretty bad. This B-pillar thing here is pretty bad, and their jack and point. But most of this is probably going to be okay. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Either drill the whole spot welds out and replace the entire sill from the top to the bottom, or cut out the worst bits down here, try and get this bit here done, but leave most of the top bit here intact. I'm not sure yet, so I'm just going to play with caution and just cut away what I think I need to cut away for now. As soon as I got to here, the metal started to get actually pretty good. So we've not got a rusty bit from here to probably here. But anyway, yeah, you can see where I'm at. I've got pretty much a lot of rust, and I'm pretty much cutting out this. I'm not cutting out, I'm using the air chisel. I'm taking the spot welds out with it. Very loud though. Well, I was doing that there until I went through the floor, because it was a lot easier with two hands. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll put you on time lapse and we'll get cracking. Okay, so it's the next day here, and I came out and I've kind of powered on a wee bit here and got some patches made. So I've got this one made up. This one sits here like this, and it's gonna go like that. But I don't want to weld this in until I have my outer sill on, so I know exactly where that's gonna go. Same with my jack and point. I don't really have a reference to mark from to find out where the plate has to be. I think I'm gonna get a bit of box section, drill a hole in it, and then with the hole saw, and then I'll have some sort of shape. I can press up in there, a bit of 40mm box section welded on all around, and then a plate in the bottom, and then we'll brace it somewhere else and tie it into this side bit, and potentially tie it in here as well. For this back bit here, this is either 1.5 or 2mm steel. Again, I could make a shape, but I sort of want the sill as a reference for the inside, the way the shape goes. So I'm not going to touch that either. I have made a patch up for this wee bit here and this wee bit here. So I don't know where the other one went, but we have two patches for that. Inside this sill here is actually pretty good. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's surprisingly good compared to how bad this area was. Same with here, I can't really do this bit here until I have a reference. So that's why I'm on the inside. I'm just doing this floor. I've cut out pretty much as big a space as I want to cut out, and I've made this patch here. So this here is going to sit in here like so. I say patch, it's pretty much a replacement floor section. So that slides in there. Try not to get these wires all tangled up in it. Yep, there you go. So that's going to slide in there like so. Alright. And then I've stepped the lip here with the wee stepper tool, and that's going to sit on that there. So I'm going to do a full seam weld all around that there, but when you look from the bottom, you see that kind of sits in there nicely. That there stepler's meant to sit up there too. Another thing with this here is I did cut it slightly too short for this wee bit here and this bit over here, so we're gonna have to patch them in separately. That's not a big job. So yeah, I've got a bunch of spot welds along the side here to do, and then I'm just gonna do a full seam. So that's where we're at. Cut this back one out too, sort of. Need to be a bit more time on that one, cutting that out, but I wanted to get this big patch in here and get a bit of strength back in the floor. That wee patch there is welded in then, and this one here, so we're still laying this complete again. And I've got this patch done from where that original factory plug was. Put a wee circle on that there with the bead roller, just for a bit of extra strength. So that's that patch done. And then the main patch, the big massive one, is in. Now I was having a bit of trouble with a welder over here, but we've got it sorted. That's that patch for the outside. And still need to fill this one in here because I got my patch a wee bit too small. Same on this side, I had to put a wee fill piece in here, but I say that's not going to cause any issues. I need to get that one done. I've also pulled the wing off. You can see here, the wing came off rather easily, to be honest with you. Only bolt I couldn't get out was this one here. It was a bit rusty, so I just cut it off. But right here is all good. Surprisingly good, really. Wee bit of surface corrosion in the bottom here we're going to clean up. Might have to put a patch here. Just clean all this up, put a wee bit of rust converter on that. And then the front jacking point is actually not too bad. I'm going to cut this out bigger, see what's going on there. Maybe just add a bit of strength into that one, a bit of extra support. Maybe keep it the way it is, but just a couple of wee extra bits. Because I don't see the point of cutting it out if it's not rotten, like, but I won't know until we get in there. What else? I had to take the bonnet off because of the way the wing bolts on. The wing bolts on along here in these two holes, but then the bonnet hinge sits on top of it. Terrible design, really. You think even if the wing was like these here weren't fully, you just have like wee notches in, so you could just loosen the hinges off and slide it out. I might actually do that when I'm putting it back on. Around the top where the hinge bolts is pretty gross around here, so I'm going to take this scuttle paneling thing off and just see how rotten it is right here. Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm going to see if I can source a new one of these scuttle panel things because that's just gross. Around here, hoping that I can just clean this up, put a bit of rust converter on it, but I say I'm going to have to get all this crap away. So yeah, I'm just going to do a bit of cleaning here. And then once I have the cleaning done, we can see if I have to do any patches. Cleaned up under this bond hinge and it wasn't too bad. There's some light pitting here, so I just put some rust converter on this here, and then we'll put some red oxide primer over that there and seal it. Down behind the wing here where the wing mounts is the lower wing mount here. There's some light pitting around here as well. I'm not really sure what to do here. I might cut this one out, I might not. We'll see how I get on. I'm going to move my attention on to the underside here. Right on the underside then here you can see there's a hole here and a hole here. So I'm going to get this whole area cleaned back. We'll see how bad it is, see how much we have to replace. So after cleaning this back then, this hole here is actually meant to be here, same as this one. So the only patch we have to actually do here is this one here, and we'll have to finish this one. So let's get this one cut out and we'll see how we can go about making a patch for it. We'll have this cut out, it looks like this, but I tried to drill the spot welds out and they wouldn't come out. For some reason I must have had the hole slightly in the wrong place, and I tried to use the air chisel to pop it out and end up ripping a hole in this piece here. So I've made this wee patch first of all, and that's going to go in there. So I'm going to get that welded in first, just to finish that panel off, and then we'll start again on the one underneath. Right, so up to the car here, this goes in like this. I still need to trim the edge of this off, but I'm just putting in here to show you. That's going to sit in there like that. I'm going to buzz all around that first of all, and then once I've got like this pretty much on, we'll do this edge bit and kind of tap it around and get it to the shape it needs to be. So I think for now I'm going to clean up around this edge a bit more, start tacking it along, and then I'll come back to you when I've got this stitched up and we're going to tap around this edge just to show you how I'm going to do the curve on this. So there we go, I have that somewhat stitched on, and I'm going to try and gently try and form this into the sort of shape I need. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect, but as long as it's sort of the right shape. Like, that's pretty good. Right. So I'm gonna stick. So next up, I'm gonna just stitch that on. We'll buff it back. Be an all patch done. So on this passenger side then, it's not finished, but I went ahead and took the wing off the driver's side anyway. On the passenger side here, I need to fix this bracket that holds the bumper bracket. So there's a wee bit of rotting away around here. Pretty much the rest of this is actually quite good. I need to do a bit of cleaning up here, put some rust converter on this wee bit here, and a few other bits, but for the most part, that's pretty good. Right, the wing off on this side then. First off, glad I bought coilovers because, well, just look at this. Look at this, okay, that springs must be broken in 2 bits. But the cobwebs are just brutal. Also bought a driver's side wing, which is good because this one is completely gone. We bit of rust here, bit of surface corrosion all around the back here. We're going to have to clean up. Probably the worst bit is this bit here on the shock tower and this wee area here. So first off, I'm going to get this all ground back and cut out and see what sort of work we'll have ahead of us. This is so gross. Alright. I hope there's no big spiders in here. Ew. I can deal with most things, but spiders are just. Ugh. Alright, get that. There we go. That's one severely broken spring right there. Right, rust wise, this actually isn't as bad as I first thought. I'm probably gonna cut it out anyway, just because I'm here, but. Definitely thought it was going to be a lot worse. So you can see up in there that the lip, oh, where is it? There, that this outer wheel arch skin is actually gone, but this bit here for the actual shock tunnel isn't too bad. What I'm going to do is cut this out, right? Patch up the inner, and then if I can use this bit again, if it's not too bad, I'll weld it back in again. If it is worn, if it is too bad, I'll just make a new one, but you know how it goes. Right, so I'm gonna get this cut out, just get this pretty much this area done. Now this cut out, I actually cut out a bit too much, but that's okay. So this is that bit there. We're just gonna make all these again. That's how rotten the inside was, and to be fair, the actual tunnel, well, it's really pitted, but it's not pretty, so we're going to fix it too. So I've got this cut out. It's going to sit in there like that. Probably could have made this a bit of a nicer shape, but there you go. That sits in there like that. And that line at the back there, we're going to put in the tipping die and see if we can get it to flow with this shape. So I've already went ahead and done this, but I'll show you how I did it. So this is the line here I'm trying to follow, and I want to get that basically folded but in a curve. So I have this tipping die, so it's basically a metal disc on top with a like polyurethane wheel in the bottom, and most bead rollers like this here will be hand operated, but it isn't pedal. Right, so if I wanted to make that curve, I would put that in there like that. Oh. And then when I'm doing it, I would put a bit of pressure on it like that, and it gives you a curve. So let's go try it up to the car. I know it fits, but you don't know if it fits yet. And then that pops in there. It actually was better before I did that last roll on it, but I'm gonna weld that, get that in the right place, weld that in, and then we'll make the outer one. But that's pretty good. Parts 1 welded in and all grinded back. That's quite nice actually. I usually don't mind we bead weld, but because this is in the engine bay and you'll see it when you open the bonnet, I figured I'd spend a bit more time grinding it back. So next up I'm going to make this one here. I'm going to make this out of slightly thicker material because this is a wee bit thicker. So I've got 1.25 and 1.5. I'll measure out what this was originally made of and then we'll just match it. Yeah, let's measure 1.55, but it's probably measuring that because it's a wee bit further up with the rust, but 1.5 should be enough. So I'll get that done. So now I have this shape made up here, and I've marked where this cut ends on both sides, and I've set this in, and pretty much I'm going to cut this panel down to that shape, and then once we can get it in roughly, we'll cut it to this final shape. So that is pretty much going to work there. Still need to trim the top edge and trim this bottom edge, but I'll do that now. If you didn't have a bead roller, you could cut this shape out of like a bit of wood, a bit of MDF or something, and just beat it with a hammer until it's roughly the right shape. Bead roller just makes it a lot quicker. So yeah, I'm going to put that in there like that. And first of all, I'm going to get this all trimmed, and then I'll actually just show you what it looks like before I weld it in. Well, that's there. It sits in there lovely. I've drilled the spot weld holes as well. What I'll do here now is I'm going to stitch up around the outside here, and then when I've got that in, I'll give this a wee tap with a big punch and a hammer just to follow, just so this lip is bent down a bit because it did deform a wee bit when I was using it in the bead roller. So let's get that done. No, that's nice and tidy, isn't it? Wee bit of seam sealer over that, paint it up, and it should be mint. It looks pretty much the same underneath as well. Bit more burnty underseedy looking underneath, but it's solid. So let's move on to the next bit then. Right, the next thing I want to address then is this door. It just doesn't close right now. Well, it closes, but it's really messed up. So first thing I'll do is try and hammer this lip round and see if it kind of pulls this away, because at the minute all that's happening is this inner structure is rubbing against the wiring loom. So I have to close the door, beat this with a hammer enough to try and get it round and see how that does. And you can see there when the door is closed, it's actually catching in there. So what I might do is actually get a big shifter and try and mess with it a bit. This big shifter might not fit in there, but it might be, so it might be okay. Bear in mind, we're not keeping this door, I just want to actually close. I'm gonna try and source the door. Got that far yet. Right. Well, definitely looks better, but I don't think it's gonna make much difference. I think the main issue is the bits where the door hinge sits on is actually bent, rather than that inner structure. So I wonder if I put pressure there. See, I don't think the actual pillar's damaged, I think it's all in the door. See? Right. Put some in here. See if that closes any better. It does close now. It's a bit messed up looking, but it does close. Doors are rusted anyway. So we need a door. I could sit and spend ages messing with it and getting it pretty much straight, but it would need a lot of filler to actually be usable. And to be honest, yeah, I don't think a door's gonna be that expensive, so you know, I actually might be getting one for free. It'll probably need paint, obviously, but if I had one in the right colour, it would be handy. But it'd probably be the best panel on the car if I did that. It's bar the front wing that I'm putting on. Take that off. I'd say that windscreen got cracked at the same time. At least the door closes now. What else? What more can you ask for? Okay, well, I can't really face working on this anymore until I clean it because it's just so disgusting. So I'm gonna pretty much put this wheel back on, roll it outside, jack it up, take the wheels off, and just get it a good clean everywhere. Well, not everywhere, mostly front wheel arches and what I can get at the back for now anyway. Right, well look at this for a thing of beauty. She is spotless, sorta. Okay, I've got about 2 hours left of free time before the end of the week. Is all I'm gonna have for this week, so pretty much I've got 2 hours left of things to do before I'm gonna upload this video. So now I've got this all cleaned down and everything, it all looks presentable. The plan now is I'm just gonna go over all these bits with like surface rust. I'm gonna clean them all back and put some rust converter on them. I still need to fix this bracket and see them on the other side, but don't think I'm gonna get time today. That's here. I'm gonna put some rust converter on this here, just because, well, I'm putting on everything else. Right here, this area down here, I think I'm gonna cut out and patch up. Hopefully get that done today. Right here needs all rust converted, and still need to fabricate these brackets up. This area here is a lot worse than the other side is, so I might have to do some cutting out there, but I'm not gonna get time today. So yeah, just basically rubbing this back. On this bit here, same as the other side. It's not too bad, just a wee bit scabby. It's not really heavily pitted or anything, so it will be fine. I've seen ones rust out all along here. This car seems to be quite good all along here, so I'm happy with that. Around this area here, it's a wee bit rust eaten, but I'm just going to cut off the bits that are rusted and we should be okay. And get this bit here, we'll just bring it back in. 3 of these should hold it. This, and then we'll clean it back and put some rust converter on. These lines don't look too hot either. These are the, I think these are the power steering cooler lines. I'm just not going to touch them in case they rot away. The bumper mounts will need tarted up some stage, but not going to get time today. So pretty much 2 wheel arches, I'm going to blast at them. This escalated a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna. So I cut out that wee area that was there, and then inside that there, this whole panel is completely rotten. All this goo was inside it, it's soaking wet. So I basically cut it all out. So I've made this lovely patch here. Actually quite proud of this. This is very quick. That's gonna go in there like that there. I need a wee bit more trimming, but that's gonna go in there, and then we'll make a closing panel. So I'll get this welded in now. I'll come back and we'll see how we're gonna cap this end off, because we need to put the lip in for the bottom of the wing as well. Now I have this stuck in. It's not exactly how I envisioned. I thought it'd be a lot straighter, but my angles just weren't right. It kind of dips in a wee bit. But once I've got a bit of seam sealer over that there, a stone chip, it's going to be behind a guard anyway. You're not going to see it. It's just kind of annoying. I also hit here with a hammer like 3 times to close the gap up here, and it definitely bowed it in loads. But you know, it is what it is. Right. So we'll have that done. I have an end plate to make for it, but I want to get the wing, and because I've got a new wing at the yard, and pretty much want to make my lip at the bottom with the new wing, so I know where it's going to bolt on. So that's that done for now. So now I'm just going to continue with the job I was actually meant to do, is get this all in rust converter, because I've only got about half an hour left. That is her all covered in rust converter now. And yeah, next time we will get this all epoxy primed, and that should be the front end done, short of finishing this patch here, because we need to put a patch here to close this off first of all, and then a bit at the bottom that comes down and catches the wing. But I've got a new wing, so we'll use that all, do that all at once, bring the new wing in, find out where we need to mount the actual replacement panel, and work from there. Sills still need to get done. Door closes now, so I'm not too worried about that. I noticed another job around the back here. I didn't really look at this at all around the back here until I was putting a battery in it, but around the back it's completely gone here. So there, and then the whole inner is gone in the inside panel, so this boot panel is going to need repaired. Should be a handy enough job. I'll just have to make a panel. Then yeah, next time I'm hoping to get the jacking points done. That should be a good chunk of the job. Hopefully my sills have arrived. I know my wings arrived, but yes, we have plenty of work ahead of us. But yes, if you want to come on the journey of getting this E36 back on the road again, please like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you again in the next one.